Hello, thank you for joining me today. I'm really happy to be bringing you this video actually because it is absolutely scorching in England at the moment and it's set to get hotter every day this week. So this is kind of like having a siesta because this room is like really nice and cool actually. So I've managed to escape all the baking sun which is at the back of the house to come and sit in here. I haven't got my usual cuppa. I've actually got a nice cold icy drink today, so I'll just pop that there and I'll put my remote control for stopping and starting the video there because last time I couldn't find it by the time I'd messed everything up. So if you've been following me on social media, you'll have seen my social media is looking very, very fruity. So I think my makes are very summer inspired, and I'm often like that actually. The seasons do influence what I make quite in a big way actually. So I'm just thinking I have put a list here. So I'm going to be showing you what I've made, and I'm going to be doing unboxing, and it's going to be, do you know I've spoken to you a number of times about the Mandy Secret Society. Well, I've rejoined. I've only done 1 year of it before. I was in it for a year and I had a year off, and now I'm back in it and I've had my first package. So I'm going to bring an unboxing to you, but I'm going to do that at the end of the video because there might be some people that might not have had this yet, but they might want to still watch my video or some of it. So what I'll do is I'll do a warning and I'll do that near the end. I probably will chat about plans after that. So if you don't want it to be spoiled, you might have to, when I warn you, go and maybe come back another time and see what my plans are. I can't remember what my plans are now. I'll have to have a look. But so yeah, so makes and unboxing, and so yeah, so I was saying that my social media is very fruity, and there's a few fruity makes. I'm just actually, I can't help but notice, like I do try and look at the camera, but I can, if I look to the right, I can see myself. I'm just thinking how tatty my hair looks. I haven't, because of COVID-19, I haven't seen a hairdresser. I actually haven't seen a hairdresser since the first week of January, and we're in June now, getting late June. And what it is, I was due to see my hairdresser, and she couldn't see me. She cancelled, and then it was COVID, and she cancelled again. So it's been ages since I've seen a hairdresser. My hair's getting tatty and tattier. It really needs sorting out, but we'll get it sorted. So and it's catching my eye. It's probably because I've got a white top on and it like shows up, doesn't it? Anyway, sorry, I'll forget about my hair for a moment. I'm always going off on one, aren't I, in a way I shouldn't go. But I'm just looking. So I think I was going to talk about the dress. Right, here it is, my fruity dress. And this was the fabric that came in the So Hayley Jane box. You may have seen I do an unboxing now. I've had the boxes longer than I've been sharing them on my videos, and then I just thought one day, I'm always showing things that I've bought, and I thought, why have I never done this? That's why I decided to do it. So that's what I do now, and this is the fabric I received in this month's box. And it's quite nice because I've got to see what other people are making on Instagram and things, but I hadn't seen. I wasn't influenced by anybody this time because as soon as I got this fabric, I washed it, dried it, and got making, and I hadn't looked at what anyone else was making, so I wasn't influenced for once. I didn't need any inspiration of anybody, and what I've made is this. Now I apologise that I've got this because I can't find, I've got the book, the instruction book, and I've got all the pattern pieces, but I can't find the envelope. I just don't know, it must have fallen somewhere down here, but I just can't find it. And I have made the Christine Haynes Sylvie dress. And there's two versions, you probably can't see this. What I'll do is, I always do a blog post connected to my videos. So when you finish watching the video, if you want to see things I've priced photos of, go to the description box in my YouTube video. and there'll be a link to my blog. At this point I haven't wrote my blog, but when you see this, my blog will be ready. What I have to do is upload my video and make sure my blog's ready, and then soon as the video is uploaded, have to get the link, put that link in my blog, then publish my blog, and then I have to get the link for the blog and put it in my YouTube. So it's all a mad dash, but usually I've got time to do that. If anybody wanted to go on my video and go straight to my blog, they'd have trouble. But if I've just uploaded the video, by the time you've watched it, it should be there, all well and good. So anyway, so you will see this picture. I will take a photo of it, and you'll see it better. But I made a mixture of version A and B, and the differences are, there's no difference between the top bodice piece at all. All the bodice pieces are exactly the same. The only difference is with the waistband piece, is one of them, that's version B, they've put piping around that piece, around there, around that border. And the difference between the skirt on A and B, on version A it's a gathered skirt, and on version B it's a straighter skirt. It's not straight, it does come out, but you have two darts, I think, at the front. If you were looking at that, you'd think there was two either side. Two dart, oh there is, oh, I can't believe, because the pattern's so busy, I can't know. Yeah, there's two darts at the front here, and there's two darts at the back as well. And but my shape will, well, not the shape, but the size might look a bit different to the pattern, but I'll explain why, and my experience with this dress. This is probably, out of all the makes I talk about, this is probably the one I'm going to speak the most about, but I'll try and not speak about it too much, just in case dressmaking's not your thing and you're here for Mandy unboxing. So basically, when I was deciding on my size, I looked at the instructions and I looked at what they said to cut out for your measurements and what the finished size was, and I made a decision to pick a size. I can't remember which one it was now, and I cut out, I traced and I cut out just the front bust piece, and I folded up the darts, because there's two darts either side here, and I held it up to me on the mirror, and I made the decision that that was going to be too small for me. I didn't do any full bust adjustments on this, and I know I often do that. But I decided, no, I'm not going to go with this one. So I decided to do a bigger one. So I traced the new one out, traced the new body out of the big one, and I made a little toile. I was going to show you it actually. I can't believe I didn't get that ready. Let me just have a peek over here. See if I can see it. No, I can't see it. If I could have seen it, I would have scooted past and grabbed it. I can't see it. And so I made up a toile just for the bodice piece, so the front and the back. Sewed it together, tried it on, and it fit fine actually then. But what I decided to do is I wanted it a bit longer, because the dart, where the dart finished, it was literally here, like there. So I knew once I sewed the waistline on, and it was going to be 5/8 of an inch, I probably would have ended up with the waist starting here. It would have been quite high, but there is a line on the pattern showing where you can increase and decrease, and I actually made the decision to add 2 inches to the length of mine on the bodice, just because I wanted to bring that waist, I wanted to make sure it was going to be underneath my bust at least, and if anything on my waist, really, that's what I wanted. So, and I did achieve that. It's sitting, this line here is like my waistline, and obviously this one is coming higher. I could have maybe brought it up 1/2 inch maybe, but if I wanted a bit more of that look with it, that bit sitting a bit higher. But on the photograph, I think the girls look like it's sitting on their natural waist, so it just happens to be my natural waist is lower down than what it is on this pattern. So anyway, so that was one thing. So I was happy with that, and I made the decision not to do a toile then with any more piece. I think all I cut out was the front waistband. I didn't cut the back piece out in a toile fabric, and that's how I think I made the decision on how long I wanted it, because I held it up to it and I thought, well, where will this end, plus your 5/8 of an inch. And I thought, no, that's going to be higher than I want. So that's where I made the decision to put 2 inches on the bodice. I decided I didn't want the piping. I wasn't bothered about that. Now, I didn't fancy the gathered skirt. Now, I'm not saying I'm never ever going to do a gathered skirt. But when I made a toile I've made a Christine Haynes dress before. That's the pattern I start off with. If you've ever seen my Halloween dress that I made October, I don't know if I bought it onto YouTube, I'm not sure. I'll have a look back, but I definitely had it on social media. Maybe I did have it on YouTube, I can't quite remember now. But I made the Christine Haynes dress before, and that was a different one, a sleeved one, and it was the emery dress, and I ended up doing a full bust adjustment and everything, and that had a gathered skirt, and I made a full toile with a zip and everything. And I really didn't like the skirt on me, the gathered skirt. So I actually, when I made my proper dress, I did my own skirt. I didn't even use the skirt from the pattern, and I did a box pleat one, and it was beautiful, and I really like that. In fact, it's my favourite skirt that I've had in a dress, really. Not that I've made many dresses, because the first dress I made was actually not April just gone 2020. The first dress I ever made was April 2019, and like human dress. I've made plenty of toy dresses, and that was a figure skating dress. And then I made like a couple of dungaree dresses. So really the Halloween dress, so a dungaree dress, it's not saying it's not a proper dress, it is a dress, but the Halloween dress was probably the first proper dress I made, and this is really probably the second proper dress I've made, I suppose, if you're not counting 2 dungaree dresses, Cleo's from Tilly and the Buttons, and a figure skating dress, which is a whole different thing, isn't it? So I am going to be making many more dresses, but I think what it is, I'm quite into making dresses, because I don't get dresses in the shops that are good fit, so I'm getting into making my own dresses. So let's move on. So I didn't want pockets, and I decided I didn't go for my box pleat one that I put on my other dress, my Halloween dress, because I thought, you know what, that's not going to be bad on me. I think what I felt like with gathered skirts, that they've made me look a lot bigger than I am, really. So I kind of like something a bit more fitted, really. So anyway, so I decided to go for it, and I did have some issues, and all the issues were my own fault. I'm gonna have a drink, sorry, I chat so much I get so thirsty. They were my own fault. Now, when I decided to add 2 inches to my pattern piece for the bodice, I'd accidentally got mixed up. Do you remember me telling you that I cut out a small one first, a trace, and cut out a small one, and then I cut out a bigger one? Well, I managed to mix those up, right? So I ended up, when I cut my fabric out, the bodice piece was the smaller one, and actually my back piece was a bigger one, but I didn't know this. But it all sewed together nicely, and then the issue didn't arise until I got to the waistband, because the waistband, you have got inner and outer, but forget about the inner at the moment, but you've got a piece that comes to here, and then 2 pieces that come round here. I'm dropping all my pattern pieces here. I'll only pick them up if I need to show you. And what happened is when I sewed my waistband together, I could see that my seam, if you have, I don't know how well you can see, you've got a seam at the side of here and you've got a seam here. So you want that to match. But this piece was bigger. But I didn't know why, but obviously the piece was bigger because I'd cut the waistband for the bigger front bodice piece and I'd actually used the smaller bodice piece, but I didn't know this at the time. So basically, I just cut the bodice piece down and then I sewed it onto the back piece. And, right, so this was another mistake. When I sewed the waistband on, the seams all met lovely, and but the bodice was bigger than the waistband at the back, so when you had it all opened out, the waistband wasn't getting to the end. So I was a bit naughty. I went and tried the top on my husband. I said, look, don't judge this at the minute, it's just early stages of this, mate. If I put this on, have I got much overlap at the back, more than 5/8 of an inch? Because that's how much you are going to, like on either side, you know, you're going to need for the zip. It's you've got loads of room. So I thought, well, do you know what? I'll just trim it. So literally, to make the waistband meet, I trimmed it. Now, what I later found out, didn't know this at the time, when I checked my pattern piece that I traced and cut out, when I checked it against the pattern, I had cut one out that was too small. So it was my own fault. I'd cut the wrong piece out. And then I think at this point, that's when I realised what I'd probably done with this bodice. I think it was at that stage. Anyway, so we were all okay. I knew it fitted. Everything met up and we were fine. Everything was fine. So I was all happy. So then it wasn't until I got to sew the skirt pieces together. I sewed the front and the back, because you've got two back pieces and one front. Sewed them together. The front matched up lovely here, all nice. But the back pieces was too short for the waistband. I thought, I couldn't believe it, and I thought, I can't take even more off that top back piece and even more off the waist and whatever. And I thought, what shall I do? Wow, I've done the it's probably a sin really. I pieced a bit in, didn't I? Because I couldn't cut the skirt again because I didn't have enough, so I pieced a bit in just at the back. And I thought, well, you know, you can have the overhang with the zip and everything. It will be fine. It'll be totally fine. And it is. It's totally fine. So that's where we was at with that. So then I fitted the invisible zipper, because it's got an invisible zipper going quite far down at the back. Anyway, I tried it on, and bearing in mind at this point I hadn't finished the neck or finished the armholes off, and I tried it on, and the fit was really nice on the top, but it just was too wide on the waist, and I felt like it was like all lovely and fitted here, and it wasn't like huge, but it just kind of went like this, and it's like it really wasn't me. And I looked at the girls on the picture and I could see that that's what's attracted me. Nips in nice at the waist, and then you've got this skirt and it's not too big and it's nice and fitted on the top, and that's what I wanted. So I put the dress on, and on the outs, with it the right way round, I pinned what I wanted to remove on the waist. So on the waist, I actually wanted to remove 1.5 inches on the waist either side. And what I did, I took it from the bottom here and I graded it to, so it's basically a wedge I've took out of the waist. And what I did with the skirt, I took that 1.5 inches out all the way down either side of the skirt. So the only, and I've shortened it quite a lot. I decided where I wanted it. So the overall look does look at, if you have a look at the picture when I put it on the blog, the dress does look like that, the B version, but I haven't got the piping here. But mine looks a bit more, what would you say, flirty? Sorry about this. Maybe, I don't know, a bit more it looks quite 60s, do you think? It's kind of changed the look of that a little bit, but I think that's more me. It, you know, it did kind of send it from conservative, is that the right word, to, you know, a bit, you know, kind of thing. Especially, I didn't realise so much until I took the photograph of me kind of turning round to the back, and I kind of look like I find it really cringy. Do you know, like girls that take photographs that turn around and they stick their bums out? It does kind of look like that, but I promise you, I'm not sticking my bum out. My bum just sticks out, so it just gave that look kind of thing. But I promise you, I'm not sticking my bum out. But it just kind of just goes round the bum kind of thing. But yeah, but you know what? I really like it, and how you finish it. I don't know how you finish the hem, but I know I did my own thing. I just left 2 inches extra for the hem, and I turned it under an inch, turned it up another inch, and I did a blind hemming stitch on the machine. And that's how I like to do a lot of skirts and things. And how you finish off the neck and the armholes is actually binding, and I made my own binding from this fabric, so it's actually matching, and it looks really fun, and it's sitting nice. I'm really delighted actually with the finish of that, because the Christine Haynes dress I made before, I didn't know what it was going to be like, because that was, I think it was a neck facing from what I remember, and it was a sleeve, and it had a bodice inside, so you had a lining piece, so the bodice inside looked the same as the outside. The only bit like that in this is your edging and actually your waist, because you've got an inner waist, so inside it's that fabric. So yeah, so that's my experience with that dress. And I would make it again. The only downside for me now is if I was to go back now and make it, I know I can't use those pattern pieces, but I know what size I would probably cut out for, or trace and cut out again, and I would reuse some of the ones maybe that I've already done, and then I would just do the same again. I'd just decide how much I want to take off at the end. Maybe it would be worth me making a proper toile. If I really like this dress and I wanted to make it a number of times, making a proper toile, so I don't have to keep nipping that bit off at the waist and taking that off. But I suppose it's no bad thing, because if you do put on a few pound, you know that pattern's always going to fit you, and you just take off what you want, don't you? So yeah, so I'm really happy with that, and it's not a fabric. Even though I love pineapples and I love this print, I probably wouldn't have gone out and bought it. Well, it's highly likely I probably wouldn't have gone out and bought it, because I end up in patchwork and quilting shops most of the time, and hobby crafts, and they're not really the best place for dressmaking fabrics. I don't venture to dressmaking fabric shops very often, because my closest, I'm very lucky, I've got Guthrie and Garni as my closest, but I don't venture over that way a lot, because it's a bit further to go to than other places, and I'm not that confident going into Birmingham, which is my closest city, on my own really. So having fabrics that arrive to me is it's better for me really. So yeah, so that's what's happened with that. So and now the next make I'm going to talk to you about is Fruity again, and you might have seen this on social media, and I've had so much fun. I've wanted to make this for ages. I bought the fabric for it in the form of a panel, and that was late. I think, was it late last year? It was definitely last year, and it was from the Sewing Quarter, which is no longer around. So if you see, that's the pattern. It's got the Sewing Quarter on it, and I made the pineapple. It just felt like I'd planned on making the pineapple definitely in the summertime, and so it just felt like the right time actually, because of this fabric arriving and making this dress. it just seemed like the right time. And then I thought, oh, how am I going to photograph this for my social media? And I thought, I'm sure there's some fun things you can do. And I thought, oh, should I put it on my head? Like, you might still get a photograph of it on my head. I had a look on Pinterest, and there's all kinds of fun things. Like, I saw somebody doing a tree pose with it on their head. I really quite fancy doing that one, but I'd probably have to do that in the garden. And there's some saucy ones actually. There was this one of a lady. She did look like topless, and she had 2 pineapples and was holding them in front of her breasts. So there was nothing on display, and there was somebody else that was like covering down here. So you know, some of them were a bit saucy, and other ones they'd put, these one real pineapples, they'd put like sunglasses on, and there was quite a lot of pineapples in the sand with the sea behind, and one that I saw that I thought I could recreate this one, and I've tried it, and it was somebody, it was by a wall, but they didn't look like they were leaning against the wall, balancing a pineapple on their feet. So if you imagine you lie on your back and you put your legs in the air. So basically lie on your back and your legs in the air and put your feet like that and balance the pineapple. Now, we don't know if that photo on Pinterest is somebody lying down and they've just propped it up. They could be. And probably the photographer that took the photo, if they are doing that, probably got the model to put her legs like that and then place the pineapple on her legs to balance it. But I was trying to be the photographer with a timer, and also get the pineapple on my feet and then straighten my legs with it on it. And oh my goodness, I had so much trouble, and I'm trying to push it up the wall, and I'm making the pineapple go all distorted and out of shape. Do you know, it wasn't doing the pineapple any justice, right? It was making the pineapple look awful, and you can just see my feet, and there's one, the pineapple isn't even in the picture. So I'm going to put those on my blog. If you might have seen them already on social media, those ones. So I've had a photograph wearing my dress. It's not like a full, I have got a photograph obviously in the dress fully, but the one I've recently done, I'm in the dress and it's just like a close-up really, me holding the pineapple. And I've done another one with the shots of the photograph I tried to copy and the photograph with the pineapple, with the foot one basically. So yes, that was quite comedic actually. So you definitely, if you want to do that kind of photo, I think you need help. Somebody taking the photo and somebody balancing the pineapple, not trying to do it all yourself, but it does add to the fun, doesn't it? So yes, that's been a lot of fun. So I'm going to be getting this out, you know, in the summertime, put it out in the garden, put it in, my husband's building a man cave, but I see it as garden room, so maybe have a little summer party or whatever in there, which would be nice. So that's my pineapple. Actually, I'm going to put that over here. What shall I talk about? Right, I will talk about this, but we're still on fruit, right? In my mind, we're still on fruit because that's what I've put here actually. I'm going to cross this bit out so I know that I've spoken about it. Well, my other recent make just happens to be fruit as well. And here it is. It's made of a lovely wool felt, and it's I've done embroidery on it. I will put the photographs on the blog, and you might have seen this on social media already, but that will be on the blog. And it's basically, it's not my design, it's Corinne Lapierre, she's French, and this is the first part of the 12 Days of Christmas. Now, I love the song The 12 Days of Christmas, you know, the partridge in a pear tree. I love Christmas in general, and I've always wanted us to do something about the partridge in the pear tree. So this is the first thing, this is the pear, and I have actually started the partridge, but I've been cut down in the Primer Life, and I need black embroidery thread, and I've got all this these embroidery threads all organised in a box. and I don't have any black. I did have this little strip that I did used to pull bits off, but that isn't in my box, so I've had to stop doing this project now. So the plan is, it's actually my son's girlfriend's birthday today. He saw her yesterday. He can't see her today because of social distancing and things. She's seeing the other people in her bubble kind of thing, so you can't really mix them all together. And so we're going to pick something up for her today, so hopefully I could get some black embroidery thread while I'm out, rather than having to order it in and wait for the delivery. So that is work in progress. So that's kind of my sit in front of the telly kind of project, but I haven't been doing it because I've run out of the thread. Actually, I discovered last night I ran out of the thread actually. So that is that. Then I am going to go to this. Now this top, I don't think I showed you. I'm really sorry if you've seen it already, but I really don't think you have. I did tell you about it, but if you remember, I was making a sew over it cami, and initially I used the free pattern out of Love Sewing magazine a while back. But when I made the first one, it didn't actually fit me. It was like, you know, I had to like basically squeeze my boobs over the top of it, and it looked quite unsightly, or like kind of did this, it just looked horrendous. So I think I'd been a little bit naughty. I might have cut out the pattern, and I could have just added some on, or just added because there isn't a bust dart in the sew over it cami, added bust dart. But you know what, I thought, I'm going, because of everything that was going on at the time, I thought I'm going to support the designer. I'm going to buy the pattern because I wanted to support that designer in these hard times, and it would do me a favour, wouldn't it? Because I'd have the other sizes. So I basically bought it, the PDF. Now I measured it up, and basically the sizing of the free one was smaller than the one I bought and downloaded, and I definitely checked and printed it out in the right size. And so yes, that was what caused my problems. So I ended up doing the same size again, but in the I'm just getting a notification actually coming up on my phone. I'm so sorry. I've got a habit of doing that. So I got but I don't end up doing it in the same size, but I added a bust dart. And that's what I did. So I made it in broadly onlays. Now I'd had this broadly onlays about 7 years, and I got it off eBay that somebody was just selling off the stash, and I was going to make big puff sleeves with it. That was the plan, on a shop bought vest or something, and I just never got round to doing it. So I made the cami with it, and it does look really pretty, and it is a bit like big here, look, for my tastes. At the front, it doesn't look right like that round the back, because I took a sizable wedge out of the back piece. So the back piece is meant to be one piece, but mine is 2 pieces because I've took a wedge out at the waist for my dipped back. So it looks really quite stunning and slopey at the back, and a bit more like this at the front, which I know for some people you might like that. You might like some fitted and then a bit of this, but it doesn't do me any justice at all. It just, if you can imagine things, I kind of look better something on the waist. If something's here just drapes off me, it just doesn't do anything for me. So what I tend to do with it, I wear high-waisted shorts like what I've got on now, and I just tuck it in, and then it looks lovely then. So if I wanted to make one where I wear it out, I'd probably redo the pattern, and I'd probably well, you could put a dart in at the front like what I've done on my Ogden cami. I could put a dart down here, down this piece, or you know, I could do things on the pattern beforehand, so that's not going to happen. But that is my sew over it cami with basically with a bust dart put in and a wedge taken out the back basically. But the overall look it looks like. And that's what it looks like in broadly onlays, if you've never seen one in broadly onlays. So that is that. So I've done that. I'm just thinking, so unboxing, right. I did think this video was going to be a bit quicker than it is actually. I thought, well, I've only got 4 makes to show you, so I thought it was going to be a little bit quicker, but it turns out it hasn't. Right, unboxing Mandy Shaw. Now Mandy usually sends you a parcel in something spotty, and this is biodegradable, may I add. It's 100% recyclable, and it can be recycled at your local carrier bag station. I'm sure I read it was biodegradable somewhere. I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry. I'm sorry if I've got that wrong. Maybe it was another package that I had. Now I've probably messed all this up how it arrived, because I have been through it. So one of the bags is empty. Now I know why it's empty. It had 3 hard-boiled sweets in it, which I've eaten. I ate them when they arrived, so that's just the evidence. I could have not told you, couldn't I? I've got another empty one here. Right, let me have a look. It's all in here, I promise. Right, there's another packet. It's terrible, isn't it? Right. Ah, there we go. I knew I would be getting one of these. Now these are those wooden spools to hold your threads, and if you've seen one of my previous videos you will have seen I was delighted to make a holder that held all of these. So I know I've got room for more, so I've got another one to add now to my nice spool holder. So that would have been in one of the spotty bags. And something else that was in there, I don't know if some people were saying they didn't have this, but it might have been because they didn't notice it maybe. But I got a piece of wool felt with 2 chenille 24 needles on it, and that's what I use for doing most of my red work and things. Got that. I got a pack, but you've got to bear in mind your first package is always going to be bigger than all the others. That is because you need all the linen that you're going to need for your project. Then I got a box. I've never received one of these before. A box of DMC Brode Special. It looks like it's come from France actually because of the language on it, and it's actually got my favourite colour to work with actually. This is my favourite shade of red, the deep red. I'm really pretty pleased about that. I think I checked to see what colour it looked like before I signed up to it actually. So I've got, I don't know how many I've got in there. I don't know. Without counting, shall I count? Well, shall I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12 in there. Now I'm just letting you know, I feel a little bit unfair sharing this video with you because nobody can sign up to it now because it's full. But I have been warning people that it was up and coming in previous videos. But the reason I'm doing this is I had a year off last year off the Secret Society, and I really missed getting it. But I think I made the right decision in a way not to do it. I sort of do and I don't. I don't know if I should bother explaining that now, but do and I don't. But I really miss seeing what people got. And a lovely lady on Facebook, when she remembered, she would send me a picture of the contents, the boxes. So the reason I'm doing this, there's other ladies that this year they're having a year off, so I've decided to do this for them because obviously nobody can go out and get this now, but they might want to see what we got. So this is what we got in our first one so far. There is a booklet here. So this this might be useful to you. Do you know, if you were thinking about doing it next year, to get a bit of a feel for what you get. So I got a booklet. Now, when I was in this, not last year, the year before, you didn't get this booklet. So this is new, and it's actually got a picture of this month's June block. And I'll put that on the blog. I'll put a picture of it on the blog, so don't worry that you can't see that. And it's basically a welcome thing, telling you how you make your block and things. It's, you know, and you've got a code to get onto, because there's a special place on the website that you're allowed to go that no one else is, where there's things exclusive to you, and there's a code to get on that, and it's telling you about that and what your project is, an extra project this month. Now this month, your extra projects is you're going to make a bag that's got a red work on it, a red bag. You don't get the contents to make it, but you can purchase that from Mandy or use your own supplies. On the website, there's going to be a recipe for shortbread, and on the website there's going to be a pattern to make your own bunting from, I think it's from, she was using some vintage fabrics. They look like tray cloths, vintage tray cloths to me. So that's what you're going to get online, but you do get the pattern to make you got that pattern to make that bag. You just haven't got the contents, but I'll talk to you about that in a moment, because I've got something else to tell you. And then it's got a bit about Mandy's inspiration for the first block, and she tells you to basically cut out. Now, this didn't happen in the Secret Society before. Each month you would be told, you'd get your own on transfer, when I was in it anyway, and you'd be told what size to cut your block out. But this time it tells you to cut them out, all of them out at the start, and put them aside, and it shows you how much spare you're going to have, which I think is really useful, because actually when I got to the end of my Secret Society one year, I'd actually got some linen left, and I did get to use that in other projects, but until I'd done all my blocks I didn't know how much spare. So this year we will know what's spare, and I really like that. Oh, there's me, I'll tell a lie, I told you that you would need to get the shortbread recipe from the website, but you don't, it's on the back. Right, so the only thing you need to get from the website is the pattern on Mandy's blog on the Secret Society page. So that is that. And then you get, and it's all strapped up in a lovely ribbon, and you get your linen, all your linen that's going to make the whole quilt, and your iron-on interfacing as well, and that is absolutely lovely. And then every month I should be getting various things. I can't remember exactly. I know that I'll be getting a different block each month to stitch. I'll be getting an exclusive thing online. I'll be getting maybe a recipe. There'll be extra bits. It's going to vary, but I'm going to show you every time I get a parcel, every month, what I get. Now, I do have something to tell you about my plans. Now, I'm not saying never, but I've made the decision. I'm not in any rush to make the quilt in this year's Secret Society. Now, it's not that I don't like it, I love it, absolutely love it, but I've got that red work quilt that I made from the Secret Society last time that I'm in love with. I've got it on display, absolutely love it. I've recently done a red work, all the red works for another designer's quilt, which I'm going to be putting all together. I've got another patchwork quilt that I'm doing that's got no red work, but there is free motion and everything on it. So I've made a decision, I'm not going to do this. However, well, I'm not saying never, but right now, no. But it doesn't mean I'm going to leave these linen and things sitting around, not doing anything. I'm going to use them. So I've got Mandy's book books, and I know there's loads of things that Mandy's got in her books, but you just need the supplies and the linen and things. So I'm going to go through Mandy. I'm going to make my lampshades that I haven't made. I'm going to go through Mandy's books, and I'm going to do other things of Mandy's. I'm not going to put myself through another quilt right now because I've got other things on the go, but I know I've made the right decision because I really love getting these Secret Society parcels, and it means I'll get a chance to maybe concentrate on doing recipes. I'll be able to get on and do the extra little projects, and I can get on and do the other things, Mandy, that I've already got, and I'm not going to stress myself out over another red work thing to do every month. And I hope that the other red work ladies and Mandy understands, you know, that's my decision, but I will be looking for, sorry about this, be looking forward to seeing everybody's red work quilts and everyone's red work blocks coming along, and I know I'll have these to look forward to in a later date. Maybe in the future I might do all mine and make mine into cushions because they're going to be very seasonal. I might have a cushion for every month of the year that I change, so maybe that's what I'll do with it at a future date. So that's just what I'm feeling like now. Don't get, maybe I'll change my mind again, I don't know, but that's how I'm feeling right now. So future plans going forward, more Mandy makes, 12 days of Christmas, more dressmaking. I have bought a couple of patterns. I did win a £15 voucher for the fold line, and so I bought the pattern that I wanted. They didn't have it in print, so I had a PDF which was £10 and I still had £5 left, and I put that £5 towards a pattern in print. And the one that had a PDF, it's a jersey stretchy top, but it is quite boxy but short with a dart, and it's got a square neck. I think it's from the Friday Pattern Company. Don't quote me on that. I think it's that. And I've also the one that came in print is a McCall's. I think it's McCall's Crafts top. Again, quite boxy with a dart, but woven and with some fancy sleeves. So so those are what I bought. I don't know if they're going to be my next makes. I haven't quite decided what my next dressmaking make is going to be actually, because I've been doing all these other things. But yeah, there's definitely going to be some dressmaking. I'm itching to dressmake. I'm itching to do non-dressmaking as well, and itching to do red work and things. So so thank you for watching today. I hope you found some of that interesting, and I'll be back soon, and I can see my remote. So thank you for watching. Bye.